All right, guys, just a quick video showing the Breitling, a couple of models I think that some people might try to decide which one they want. At least I know a few people I have, so maybe you want to see these next to each other. So on the left, obviously, we have the 43 millimeter Avenger. Now, whether you get the 43 non-GMT or you get the GMT in this case here, and then on the right, you have the Super Ocean in the 42 millimeter variant. They are very similar in size, and I think they're easy to compare to one another because they're very close in price as well. Now, obviously, the Avenger is 43, and then the lug to lug is like a 51 and a half. It's 12.4 millimeter thick, so it's actually thinner than the Super Ocean. 22 millimeter lug width, and then they both have 6.5 millimeter crowns. Whereas the Super Ocean is 42 versus the 43. The lug to lug is 50 versus the 51 and a half. And then, like I said, the thickness is basically a whole millimeter thicker. The 12.4 versus the 13.5. I don't really seem to notice it too much, but I mean, the Avenger is thinner and it's more spread out because it is both 43 and 51 and a half. So it just kind of lays on the wrist pretty dang good for being a 43 by 51 and a half. You still have to be careful of your wrist size on the Avenger, whereas I think the Super Ocean is going to be more forgiving for smaller wrist. But I know people with sub 7 or about 7-inch wrist, I guess, that can pull off the Avenger no problem. Movements, they both should have ETAs in them. I haven't pulled the case back off to confirm, but the Breitling 32, or really if you get the non-GMT version, it should both have Breitling 17s in them. So whether it's the 2893 GMT or the 2824 that's in the Super Ocean, they're both crazy good movements, and they're both going to be COSC spec'd right from Breitling or from the manufacturer, however they do it. And then I think they probably put their own rotor on it. I would really like to see some good pictures of both these watches with the case backs off. I'm not pulling the case back off because on the Avenger you have 300 meter water depth rating, and on the Super Ocean you have 500 meter water depth rating with, and you think about that, 13.5 millimeter thick, and it's a 500 meter depth rating versus like my Tudor Pelly that's also 500 meter depth rating, and that thing is way thicker than the 13.5, a couple millimeter almost. Well, no, like one or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying. It's thicker. Both of them have 120 click bezels, but the bezels are quite a bit different. All metal with rider tabs on the Avenger, and then you have a nice deep coin edge almost on the Super Ocean, and then you have the inlay here is DLC, so diamond-like coated, filled in, and then relief cut for the brushed markers to show. So it should be very strong, very tough. No problem there. You're not going to crack a ceramic that doesn't have it, or you're not going to scratch some sort of other inlay. The DLC will hold up very well. Price points. The non-GMT Avenger on metal bracelet is $3,950. Wait, yeah, okay. So $3,950, which I think, to keep it apples to apple, maybe I'll talk about the price of the non-GMT. If you were to get the GMT on metal, it's $4,500. If you think you absolutely have to have that extra hand, on the display. But if you go with the non-GMT, then it's actually a little bit less money than the Super Ocean. Not much, because this one here retails for $4,200 with the bracelet, or $4,000 on strap. So they're all bouncing around within $300 basically of each other. Personally, I mean, I'm a bracelet guy, so I would get it on bracelet, and then I would still get the strap because the straps are freaking nice, and they have the corporate yellow backing on them. Speaking of corporate yellow, both these are available in yellow, but the next size up. So in the Avenger, it would have to be the 45, and then for the Super Ocean, they have to be the 44. I really wish they would do the yellow dial in the 42 because I would buy it. Or if they did the yellow dial in the 43 on the Avenger. You can get other colorways like the Avenger and the 43. You can get white. I think there's even a green, maybe a blue or something. So you can do other colors on this one as well as this one. You can get with the black. There's a black dial with a yellow what do you call it? Chapter ring. The white, obviously, the blue. I'm trying to think what else there is. And an orange. Yeah. So you do have some more vivid color options with the Super Ocean, which I can kind of like. But the Avenger is more of a blingy watch already, just because of the polished on the top lugs versus brushed, and then the polished on the bezel versus mostly DLC on this guy. So maybe bold colors don't really play well. Maybe it's best to keep this one conservative in the center and blingy on the outside. Let's pop them both on wrist real quick so you can see that on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. You know what I'll do? This is going to be tough, but I'll try to put them both on, and then I'll take them both off. It's a little tight on my right wrist. Can you guys see that? Man, this is not easy because I'm working around the camera here, but all right, I can't do that. I tried to do it, but you guys were able to see a little bit. But here's the Avenger on my wrist. It just works. It works so well. And then we'll pop the... I'm going to leave the Schwarzkopf double wrist check in the video, because why the heck not? I'm a goofball. But here is the Super Ocean. I love wearing this thing. Now, I own the Super Ocean. So if you're questioning which one did I pick, I picked the Super Ocean. I bought the Super Ocean twice, actually. I bought this actual watch, sold it later on, and then convinced the guy that I sold it to sell it back to me. So I actually bought my watch back. Now, the Avenger is here temporarily because it's part of the Breitling Select program. I don't own this. Would I buy one? Yes, but right now I'm focused a little bit heavier on what watches are in my collection. But if I were buying freely and I had some discretionary income, you know, say $3,000 to $4,000, then yeah, I could see landing an Avenger. I would want it on bracelet though. And I think I would go for the non-GMT Avenger for the $39.50 or less. You can probably save, if you go gray market or used, probably $1,000 less. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't see it happening anytime soon, but I don't think they're going to stop making the Avenger. And even if they did, there's going to be tons of used ones out there and good examples, because I think a lot of people take pretty good care of their Breitlings. I don't think they usually get damaged or anything too much. I mean, I know there's some one watch type guys out there with the Breitlings, and they get worn a lot and they can get worn out, but I think typically most people I know, they have Breitling. They have many other watches. All right, guys, I rambled long enough, and hopefully I helped you a little bit, or potentially confused you a little bit too. I would be fine either way. Here is the loom shot. Both of them have excellent loom, just a totally different layout. Obviously, the Super Ocean's more cartoonish with the 12, 6, and 9, whereas the Avenger's more conservative and dressy with its polished and brushed motif, and then the more conservative dial layout. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next video.